I promised everyone a shit show, and a shit show they shall have.
Well, you're live, I think. So
do we?
Whenever Eric changes the camera.
I asked the Alfalfa fam today. I said, guys, Papa Nick, the responsible one, is out of town.
I'll tell him Nick's not here.
And
You
should we
can
do?
always
Should we
tell.
go?
You could always tell.
Should we go?
obvious,
Should we go
everybody.
tipsy? Should we go? Should we go serious? Should we go existential? Should we go Von Deeper? And how do I get the audio to stop coming out of my damn? Wait, Steven, what's going on here? Why is there audio coming out of the computer?
Why is there audio
Muted.
coming out of the computer?
Yeah,
Muted.
Mute
From
the
where?
computer.
there is no, because the computer's broken. There's no
Bro.
mute button.
Okay, you're better than this.
Oh my god. You mean there's no mute button? You do it manually with the menu.
He's definitely better than this.
Go to the menu,
The output.
click on the sound bar.
What should the output be?
What are you talking about? Just go to your computer and mute it.
Stop yelling at me. You can't mute it.
Yes, you.
This is such a classic Steven moment.
I'm too drunk.
I'm trying to explain this to you, brother. Okay.
You said it couldn't be muted.
It couldn't.
It is.
And then you switch the output. Are you having a brain?
Could we just turn that computer off? Do we even need it?
We don't even need it.
We don't even get rid of it.
We don't need it?
I don't
Get
think
rid
we
of it.
All right.
God.
I have to focus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, what a load off.
I'm still talking. I'm telling you, this thing is like.
Bro.
Oh, you know what? It's been coming from my phone the whole time.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait, hold up. I gotta check to see if the mics are working.
I could pee my pants right now. Oh, dude.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna die.
Oh,
That was too good.
oh. Where is it coming from?
We're
The fucking mics aren't correct. God damn it, man.
Awesome.
Ah!
How do we do these warm-ups?
It's so good.
If there could be a compilation of just our warm-ups that don't get recorded, how sick
Fucking
would that
A, dude.
be? Okay, let's go to the
What
chat.
do you mean they're not
They
correct?
probably told us in the chat.
I mean,
And the laptop mic has been on.
Ah, yes, it's the laptop again.
I'll be honest, I haven't laughed that hard in ages.
Ah, how many times? How many times? Like, this thing isn't even connected. What the fuck? God.
Oh, man. Too funny.
I mean, it should be working now.
Yeah?
No, the fucking the
Sure.
Riverside won't let me switch it to the road.
Well, there was audio. It was just on the wrong one.
You can't switch while recording. Oh, cool. That's amazing.
Riverside is cool.
Thanks, Riverside.
Yeah, we're over Riverside, I think.
Yeah, it's working. Wow.
Is it
Dude, I
working?
cried. That was
Wait.
a good laugh.
I don't think it's working.
It's working.
You can hear yourself?
Oh.
Well, I think it's just because.
No, that's just because I'm yelling into the. I'm just yelling into the MacBook.
Son of a jet.
Let me see if this kills it. I may kill the stream.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Streamlabs was better.
God, Armand, you're so dark.
Ooh, personal evolution is back.
Personal evolution's back.
That's your big fan.
Damn. Damn.
Alright. Well, I don't know
Oh.
if the stream is.
It's because we were on the
back.
computer. You were on the computers, huh?
It's good.
Yeah, I don't like how dark you are with the auto ISO.
No. Yeah, you can't see my hair.
Yeah. Are you back?
Let me see.
Back.
You want to ISO me up?
It looks so much.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, shot looks so much better from the other way.
ISO me up, baby.
ISO you?
ISO me. Maybe a 400,
There's zero chance I'd do this without destroying your
450.
shot. Like,
Oh my god. Down. Good. That's good. Too low.
Too low?
Too low.
Right there?
A little more.
More?
Yeah.
Like that?
That's good.
Sweet spot?
Sweet spot McGee. Still kind of dark.
Unbelievable.
All right.
All right, so what just happened?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Are we live and working?
We're here. Howdy, partners.
Oh, man.
Bruyne Black in the house. We got Schmanthony, first time live viewer. Hello.
Oh,
We got the OG Personal Evolution. I still am the biggest fan.
I want to give
Juice. I love Juice.
Well, I
That's
wanna
the
give
best username.
Schmanthony a shout out for being first time.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What's up,
Schmanthony.
Schmanthony?
Hey.
This is
Carby?
a very appropriate first time. I mean, this basically happens every time. So
Yeah, I mean, it's necessary that it happened for Schmanthony.
you don't get to experience this in the recording because
Yeah.
you know, Alan Bryce does such a good job of editing it out.
What
sometimes,
a legend. What a legend
Unless
Bryce is.
we leave it there for hilarity purposes. But
Stephen has only gotten better since I started being his biggest fan.
Yeah. Steven's up only.
Yeah, he's
Like
up on it.
Bitcoin. Steven's Bitcoin. He's up only.
All right.
all right, everybody,
Here.
welcome to the pod. Am I modding?
You know, whatever you like. You can jazz. You can mod.
Yeah.
You can. We can free flow. You can
Yeah.
jazz.
All right, well, welcome to episode 241
Ooh,
the Alfalfa podcast.
Damn, we've done 241 of these.
we've had 241 times that we've made people sit through technical difficulties.
To be fair, I think we've only had technical difficulties for about 130 of them.
That's true. Ever since we came to the studio,
Yeah,
live,
pretty much.
Yeah.
No, we've had technical difficulties well before then.
different types.
Are you drinking
Variations.
scotch?
I'm gonna
Who
have
knows
some as
anymore?
soon as I finish this.
What is that, old fashioned?
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
old fashioned.
Well, I brought a Highland Park 18 in celebration of new.
I love Highland Park.
this.
For
This
people
is,
that haven't had Highland Park, any of them, all of them are good.
I've never had it.
This 18 is like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's like 160 a bottle,
Okay.
but it punches above its weight class.
So why are you celebrating?
We are once again at all-time highs for
Mm.
Bitcoin today.
The only coin that matters.
How about Ethereum?
I don't even know what the price of Ethereum is. Right
Ethereum
now.
is still at 50% all-time highs.
Probably $2,500 ish.
You know what the all-time high of Ethereum is?
4,200 or something?
4,900, brother. Almost 5K.
Yeah.
Have you seen the little graph where it shows like every single time Bitcoin's hit 100K, the price of Ethereum?
No.
It just keeps going down.
Yeah, we went down. Damn.
I know, tough times, tough times. Eat's coming back. It's coming back.
Well, happy all-time highs.
Happy
everyone.
all-time highs
Thank you. Happy all-time highs to those who celebrate.
to those who own Bitcoin.
This has been the quietest all-time high in the history of Bitcoin, by the
Yeah.
way. Like, can you recall an all-time high where, like, I walked in today, you were like,
No one
what,
cares.
what's happening?
No one cares.
No, that's a great
That's a good sign.
characterization of it, and also a good sign.
Yeah.
I feel like this has the makings of sending to way higher.
1 million.
$1 million.
Stop thinking so small.
Okay.
What's
In this
Sailor's
cycle.
latest price? It's like 100 million now.
What?
Yeah, he's throwing out like
He threw out a number over 10 million?
he's throwing out like 100 trillion market caps for
Oh my
Bitcoin now.
God, this guy.
Why not?
I love it. I love it.
What's that? About
Someone's
like,
got to do it.
was that like a 40x from here, 50x from here?
Yeah.
Sounds right. Sounds
That's pretty
good.
good.
Sounds good.
That's pretty good. Like, what's that? 5 million a coin?
Mm.
5 million a coin. Can you imagine? Ugh, gets me all fuzzy inside.
Imagine the smell.
I definitely won't still be holding it. I'll sell it all at like
Yeah, I'd be-
500K.
I'd be long gone.
Anyway,
So, Eric,
let-
you're well, not celebrating, but you were fanning today
Oh yeah,
for the Man U game.
yeah.
I'm
Manchester.
sorry for your loss,
Manchester United was playing for entry into the Champions League.
but and for hardware.
and for the Europa League title. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're awful. We lost.
Yeah. Tough
Yeah,
year.
Man U's in 18th place in the Premier League.
Shambles.
No, 17th place.
17th.
Sorry.
Shambles.
18th place is
wait,
actually
Man U's bad?
they're
They
so
are
bad.
one away from having gotten relegated to the
How does
championship.
Man U get bad? Like, how does that happen?
They've been bad for a few years, but they're really bad now.
Dude, imagine if they were one place worse. They're in 17th now. If they're 18th place, they get kicked out of the league.
That's so wild.
They would lose so much money.
How's the stock doing?
Oh, I can't even imagine. I don't follow it. Can't imagine.
And they're star-studded. This team has so much money. They're one of the richest teams in the world.
Yeah, that's fine.
They have one of the highest pay. They have the second highest payroll in the Premier League.
It's so crazy. Next to City, right?
City's number 1.
Yeah.
United number 2.
I was really sad for Kevin De Bruyne's farewell. He's my favorite player.
He's so
One
good.
of them. Of that era, of that generation, I think he's, other than Messi, like my actual favorite player.
So I saw that there's 2 bids outstanding for Kevin De Bruyne's services. One is Napoli in the Serie A, the Italian league, and the other one is Chicago of the MLS.
How about Inter?
How about Chicago?
Yeah.
That's cool.
How about
I
San
like it.
Diego FC?
Yeah. San Diego.
Like,
Can we
do you
get in
guys
on that?
do you
Has
guys
no
like
money.
if you take like an aging Kevin De Bruyne and
He's
and-
33.
yeah, he's not that old.
He is still well within his.
But like
hurts.
if the MLS just like continues to do this and like takes like the 33-year-old sort of like over the hill stars,
Yeah.
does that get the MLS over the hill eventually, like over the hill of
Well, yeah, I think.
Yeah, you just keep trading. You just keep slightly trading down. Like every few years, you get 33-year-old, 32-year-old.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, you get 20-year-olds in the league.
Yeah, they just start coming a little earlier and earlier.
and they're competing I think against Saudi. I think those
Yeah.
are like the 2 leagues that are competing for like relevance
Yeah, you're either top tier European league or you go Saudi or MLS
for money. Yeah.
for money.
So
But Saudi has more
they just
money.
throw like giant bags of cash at you, huh?
Yeah, but
They offered Manchester United Bruno Fernandes. That's our captain, our best player. They offered him, I think, Ronaldo money, like $1 billion a year.
Billion a year?
Yeah,
Stop it.
for the contract.
for his
can't be a
contract.
year.
But they were gonna pay Man United $120 million to like buy his services.
I believe $1 billion for the contract, though. That's
It's
no,
insane.
no, like they have no ceiling on like what they're willing to pay because they just like are competing against the U.S.
just
Like
have infinite.
It's
money.
all nation building, and so is everything that's been happening politically lately with Trump going there and in the Middle East in general, Qatar, and
It's been quite the vibe shift. Like,
yeah,
he basically has been like, "Hey, you do you. We don't care. You want to cut a guy's head off? Whatever. Just be chill." And they're like, "Okay." And I think it's good. Maybe you guys disagree, but it was weird when we were kind of going around just like trying to impose our moral standards on everybody.
yeah,
Not that I think our moral standards are bad. Like I do think our moral standards are better than the Middle East moral standards. The problem is like we don't actually enforce them. Like with our foreign policy, we like kind of come over with this moral standard and then we do all this like fucked up shit. And then it's just like
Well, they
Why?
have been on a strong campaign of sort of changing the culture, changing the way they're perceived in the world for years now, and you know,
Saudi.
all of the Arabian countries in general,
Saudi's
the
doing
Arabic
well.
countries,
Qatar.
like
Qatar.
UAE,
Is, little,
you know,
little iffy.
development over the last 20 years, and then Qatar, and then
nice.
and
Qatar.
then
Qatar.
Saudi Arabia.
You
know.
guys are doing well with that.
I know. It's like when Obama
Qatar.
used to say Pakistan. It used to
Yeah.
drive me crazy. Now I'm like Qatar.
It's not Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, I guess is that the white American way to say it?
Well,
the
if
wrong
you
way to
say
say it.
Qataris, right? What do you say? Qataris? That doesn't even make
Qataris.
sense. But
Yeah.
Qataris,
Yeah,
it rolls off the tongue. Sounds a lot better.
yeah, true. But it's been interesting. Well, farewell. At least you guys didn't get relegated.
We're not relegated, but we didn't make the Champions League, which has a negative influence because when you get to the Champions League, you have like an immediate injection of like $100 million of like TV licensing money for playing in the Champions League.
It's crazy.
So like Man United will not get that injection.
Yeah, you're in a rebuilding phase. My team, on the other hand, is done rebuilding.
Barca,
Oh yeah,
best team in world football.
I think so.
I love that you're a Barca fan. It just feels
I've
so
been.
dirty.
What?
Yeah.
It's not a dirty team.
It's just like I don't. It's just
Dirty
like
is
the-
like Real Madrid. It's the opposite.
It's just like liking the Yankees like times 1,000.
That's a completely incorrect statement. that
Why-
you don't know.
Why
the game if you
why
think
isn't that correct?
It's not correct.
He doesn't have ball knowledge, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
No ball knowledge.
We shouldn't even get into this.
I think he's onto something.
Not going to dispute my point.
A lot
We're
of
just
cultural
gonna ad hominem me.
differences.
I see.
It's a club-owned team.
fair.
They bring players through an academy, completely different than like the Galacticos
They don't
just
have like a
splash money.
giant budget.
They've grown. No, they have a terrible budget. They have huge financial problems. They almost went bankrupt.
Because they're spending too much money.
No, they they mismanaged.
Yes.
They
Yes.
mismanaged.
They're getting by the string of their teeth. running a deficit every year.
What I'm saying is like compared to a team that got taken over by like some Saudi king and has infinite money, which there are many of those out there now. This team does not operate like that. It's a club owned. It's a people community owned team.
So they're like the Packers.
I don't know enough about the Packers.
That's the best thing you've said so far.
Just trying to contribute to the sports ball discussion.
No, we're okay. I think
Wait,
it's
are the
really cool.
Packers like
Yeah, they're
fan-owned?
owned by the people.
Okay, great. That's Sparsa.
They got
Yeah.
like these stocks that I don't know if they're worth
And you can
anything.
vote. You can.
No, the
everybody's
difference
got the
the
stocks.
difference is inherent with the league. So like the Packers are bound by the NFL, which says that there's like a hard salary cap that like a team can't spend above this. But like Barcelona spends like
They could spend
100 times more than like the 20th team in La Liga
because of the league rules.
because of the league rules.
yeah, but there are constraints in
Yeah,
the league.
there are certain constraints, but
There's
like
certain
they're not
constraints.
constrained the same way. That
Not in the
Packers
same
are.
way as like a, yeah.
Do you guys think sports
Football.
is better when you have the caps, or do you like to go full F1 where you just buy?
That's an interesting
Championships.
question.
I think it's clear to me that when you have like parity, it helps the league. Like, and my sort of like my only reason for believing that is that the NFL is like the most watched and like best performing league in terms of money, and they have the most parity because they like have these strict rules on salary.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of trade-offs in that question, right? It's like what's better for fans. One is more like focused on creating more sort of equality of opportunity, right, across all the teams, and the other is like more sort of just like corporate focused. It's capitalistic.
Free market, yeah.
It's free market. It's like may the best business win,
Yeah.
kind of like F1. So you compete for tech, you compete for people, you compete for TV rights, you compete for everything, and then you spend exorbitant amounts of money, and it's interesting. That also has a positive trade-off for fans because then certain teams become way more exciting to watch.
Yeah.
But then competition-wise, I think like the leagues the sports where there's more parity
Yeah, I think it's
can be better.
It's easier for the NFL to do that because it's like confined to the United States. Like if we're talking about like world club soccer, it's harder because like you're competing against every other league in the world, which is like have their own rules.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hadn't considered that.
I'm a commie in my sports.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I mean I know why. I'm trying to think why it works for sports, but not elsewhere. But it definitely works for sports.
Because
just
people
want
want to
the-
see
Want
head-to-head
illusion
pure
of the
competition.
Well, it's not even an illusion. Yeah, you want the drama.
Yeah, you don't want David versus Goliath every time. Like,
And drama's not good when I buy a toothbrush. Like I just want to know that the toothbrush won't give me lead poisoning or something.
God, man, I've been on this non-fluoride thing for a while, right? And like I cut out
Wait, where were you?
all kinds
getting
of toxins from my toothpaste. You know?
Oh, use a fluoride toothpaste?
No, I'm saying I don't,
It's messed up.
Stephen.
I think it's fine if you're not ingesting it on the toothpaste.
Well, I haven't drank fluoride water in forever, but I cut out fluoride toothpaste like maybe a year ago, and I ran out, and there was this like backup tube, and I was brushing my teeth last night, and it fucking hurt. It literally hurts your teeth.
To brush with fluoride?
Yeah, like my teeth got used to it not being there, and for whatever reason, both Erica and I were like talking, and I'm like, dude, my fucking teeth hurt. That was the most painful toothbrush. She was like, me too. And we both had the exact same experience. It was wild.
This reminds me
wild.
of like good times create soft men.
We're definitely in the soft man create the hard times phase of.
But think about it. Like,
West at
what
the
is in there that you're getting used to that you have numbed yourself to. That I mean, yeah, it's
The fluoride shit's crazy.
It's
Like,
crazy.
it's so crazy. It's one of those things where, I mean, we already look at it and we're like, wait, why are we doing this? But like 100 years from now, it's gonna be like when they, used to bleed people to make them better. We're like,
Yeah.
those
Oh my
fucking
God.
idiots. Meanwhile, we're like literally dumping fluoride in the drinking water.
Is that one of those things that we're gonna look at like 100 years down the road and be like, ooh, that was like so dumb.
yeah. I
That
think
was so
like
dumb.
life expectancy will keep increasing, and future humans will have done all these things to optimize health, and they'll look back and it'll be like, oh my God, they didn't have penicillin, or like just basic, or they were eating that, like they were drinking that, and they'll be shocked. They'll be shocked.
This was on one of our cards actually. Like, what are the things we'll look back on that are actually killing you?
Yeah.
I have one.
AirPods.
Yeah, AirPods is one.
I'm scared
Question mark?
I'm scared of AirPods now. I watched some videos on the internet and now I'm like,
Those
fuck,
always pop
we're all
up
getting
every
brain
once in a
cancer.
while.
So, if I understand correctly that argument, it's that like the corded version has less, what is it, radio magnetic waves?
EMF?
Yeah, less. It had like the corded version has less.
Well, because like there's a signal traveling in a shielded cable versus like it's wireless, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just right there in your brain, like. "Meow." I don't know. It's one of those things that like I can't prove, and I have no data to back this up, but it just feels bad.
Do you remember like the people that were against people putting like phone towers like around their home?
Yeah.
It's like the same
Yeah, like when
phenomenon.
4G was coming, and they were like, "This is
4G
going to
was
kill
coming.
us."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
I don't
idea.
know. Maybe it is. We are very sick.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I mean, the smart people I know who've reviewed this, and this is one of those areas in life where you just have to sometimes delegate your thinking to other people, which I have no problem doing when someone is an expert in that arena. That comes with trade-offs because then, you get someone like Fauci telling you what's good for you, and maybe it's not necessarily good for you. I'm not saying I'm anti-vax, don't shoot me. I'm just saying you can't always say, okay, the expert, whatever they believe is best for you. But in this regard, around the Bluetooth stuff, around the cell towers, like, I think we're okay. I will tell you one thing I've been concerned about, that is my alfalfa. So do you guys sleep with your windows open or closed?
Open.
Right
All year?
now, my windows are open because
Open.
my mattress is
All
broken.
year?
Predominantly, yeah.
Okay. Do you know how surprised you'd be how much CO2 is actually in your house? Like, in certain times of the year, we've had our windows.
I wouldn't be.
Hmm?
I wouldn't be.
No?
I would think it'd be pretty high.
It's very high. And I just ordered a CO2 monitor, but I had this like on my to-do list a few months ago, and then I forgot about it. But you need, like, I personally just love the feeling of like air flowing from outside inside. My wife hates it. She wants to feel like warm, and she's a typical chick, like always cold, doesn't want the airflow. And I've had to explain to her like repeatedly like what that does from a CO2 perspective for the babies, for us, and so on. I mean, there is really clear evidence of what this does to your brain, like how much it slows you down cognitively. So anyway, I started opening the windows again, started turning on the fan. I like immediately had more energy in the following days. It was wild. I was feeling tired. I was feeling lethargic, and I couldn't figure out why, because I was getting 7 hours of sleep and I couldn't figure out what was going on in those few days. And then suddenly got the airflow going again. The other thing you can do in addition to having your windows open is like running the whole house fan. Do you guys do that? Really important.
The whole house fan.
Yeah, so every central system has, your AC, your heater, but there's also a fan option. And then mine has like an option to run the fan sporadically throughout the day, like 10, 20, 30% of the day. It'll just turn on and cycle the air throughout the house. It's an efficient way also to cool your house when you need to, instead of utilizing air conditioning, which is not always great for you. It's just running a fan throughout the whole house. So, the things to do to, first of all, like get a CO2 monitor, check the levels. There are certain levels that are just like terrible for you. Next is, open the windows, get the air flowing, turn on the fans if you have them. And then lastly, which is getting air purifiers. So back my first job after college at 3M, 3M has these really nice air purifiers you can put into different rooms, and that also drastically helps improve the air quality, reduces allergens, and so on. Like some of the people in our community are way more into this stuff than I am, but that's like the basics that I've been doing, and oh my God, what a difference in my energy, in my sleep, in my cognitive like function. I just feel sharper, more energy.
That's a good one.
Everything.
Okay, so I was actually looking at something complementary to this. So in my house, we have an attic, right? Like most houses have an attic, and when I went up to the attic, just to like, that's where like my furnace is and stuff. I went up there and it's like fucking blazing hot up there. This thing is vented, but it's not like well vented. So I go up there, it's like hot as fuck. And I see that like some houses have like attic fans where you can like blow out hot air. I don't have this in my house, but I was thinking like this would be a very easy way to cool my home. Like because like at any given time of the day, like right now, it's probably like today was kind of like a warm day in San Diego. It was probably like 77 degrees. Okay. My attic will be like 85. My home will be like 73. But like because of that, the attic is like constantly heating up my home. If I can just like blow out the hot air from the attic, it will actually like allow me to use less AC in the home.
Yeah.
It's a good alpha.
I like that. I like
Is that a thing? I have no idea.
I do know that some people have like attic fans.
Attic fan.
Do you use the whole house fan I was mentioning? Because I saw you're not sure what I'm talking about, but you seemed like you have used it.
Well, my
You
settings.
should check if you have it. I'm sure you do.
I mean, I definitely do.
Yeah.
I also sometimes sleep with the windows open. I sometimes sleep with them closed. I'm like happy that you noticed this like marked difference, but like I don't know that I would ever be like,
yeah.
Cooler the room, the cooler the room,
windows
the better
open,
you sleep.
massive energy today.
Massive.
I just,
Step function change.
I just always wake up feeling tired.
In general, cooler room is better, right?
Yeah, there's nothing anyone could do for me right now that'll make me not tired because I just have this
No, like,
6-week-old baby that like, won't allow me to sleep.
my 8 sleep's been broken for a couple weeks, and like I can't fucking sleep.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I literally
the last
cannot
time that
sleep.
happened to me, I was miserable.
I'm so soft now.
Talk about
I am
soft
so
man.
soft
I
now.
was so soft when my 8 sleep
I just
broke.
changed so much through the night. Like I'm like
Yeah.
comfy, but then like by the middle of the night, like I turn into a fucking furnace, and then I wake myself up because I just overheat. Like I had my thing so that like in the middle of the night it would just turn my bed into an igloo.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Like I would just legitimately just sleep, and like I don't think I've slept more than 6 hours in the last month.
Yeah.
Like that's like a miracle night for me.
So,
6 hours.
Eat
now.
sleep failed. I'm trying to understand what happened here.
Yeah, it's like not cooling the bed
They
right
don't
now.
they don't last long.
It's a great product, but it like breaks a lot.
Breaks a
Honestly,
lot.
it breaks a lot. Like I've had to replace it twice already.
Good luck with the customer service.
Customer service is good.
What?
It's just a pain in the ass.
Oh my God, I had
like-
a dreadful experience with their customer service, but I got to a supervisor and she saved the day. It took me 15 interactions to get it.
See, I started the
resolution.
support ticket 3.5 weeks ago, and like I've replied to it twice. Like I just can't. Like I wake up in the day and I just do my thing. It's just like I just got my routine. I do my routine. Everything else in my life just falls apart, and I can't do basic stuff like. And then I'll literally. It's probably been like 30 consecutive nights I haven't been able to sleep, and that is not enough motivation for me to be like I have to wait because as soon as I wake up and just like start going,
You're back in the
it's
groove.
over. I'm just
Yeah.
back in the groove. I don't think
Yeah.
about it anymore, and then I go to bed the next night and I'm like, fuck. But then I'm like I'm tired, so then I fall asleep, and then it's just it's just like
I get that. Can I think we probably want to move on, but I have one more little piece of alpha that I've
I haven't done it in a while.
I've like stumbled upon something that's like adjacent to this, and I think like most people are actually on this already, but where I landed was on this idea of recycling, but like more than that. Like I think recycling is like mostly a scam. I'm like mostly on this idea of like composting and reducing. Like you know how you have this like terminology that's like reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
I think recycle is like the biggest scam on earth. I think you should reduce and reuse.
Reduce, reuse. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two things. And like we're very focused on recycling, which is worthless because the reason why it's worthless is because plastics can't be recycled. And this is like my whole alpha. Like this is like the whole thing that I'm on is that like we got to reduce the amount of plastics in our lives. But I think most people are already like on this.
Because it's in our balls.
Ultimately, it ends up like plastics are in our balls, question mark. The answer I think is probably yes. Like the reason is because plastics don't actually biodegrade. They just get smaller. They just break down. They don't like actually, they don't break up, they don't degrade.
They just
it's
turn into
crazy.
microplastics.
They just turn into microplastics. So I was like, the more that I looked into this, like I was actually looking into recycling as a scam first and foremost. I was looking at like going to the recycling facility and seeing what they're recycling and stuff. It's not much. Like they have like very strict limitations of what they can and can't recycle. What they can is like 10% of what actually gets taken in. It's the reason is because like plastics can't be recycled. So I think like where we're going, like 100 years from now, like we're gonna look back and be like, holy shit, those guys like use so much plastics. That was crazy.
These are all the little things you said, like that people look back on and be like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That future generations will solve.
Yeah, I arrived in this in a weird place because like I have like this little garden bed where I grow like basil and green onions and shit, and like I get like there's like this thing in San Diego. Like, okay, so Steven, you have a home, right? In your you have like a black bin, a blue bin, and a green bin, right, for your trash.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you might not use the green bin
The
because
green bin is hilarious to me.
okay, so the green bin is for your garden waste.
That's
Okay, so the garden waste is actually legit. Like everything that you put in there that's like
you mow the
leaves,
lawn.
you like you
don't-
put like
I just have all hardscaping, you know. It's
Oh.
yeah, so you don't have much in the green bin. But like if I put like a bunch of like garden waste in the green bin, that's actually like legit. It goes to a facility and they turn that into compost. And what I learned recently is that like as like a member of the city of San Diego, you can like go get free compost for your garden because they turn that into compost and it's like technically ours.
Oh wow.
It's pretty cool. So you get like free soil. That's awesome.
Okay, so green bin, not scam, blue bin, kind of scam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to get so triggered by this topic because I have always been taught, like my dad was so big on recycling. I've always been very big on recycling. And then I kind of had my brain exploded by my co-founder Ian, where he kind of found it cute that I recycle. And he's like, recycling is a scam, bro. I'm like, what do you know? What are you talking about? And he showed me this documentary and it just broke. It just killed me. Like it is
love that
like
Ian
they
is so
go
much like
to
me.
the recycling centers. They literally speak to these people and they're like, yeah, I mean, like
There's nothing to do.
10% of it gets
Yeah, and
recycled.
like the real reason.
but then I landed on it's better than nothing.
well,
No, sometimes it's not better than nothing.
Yeah,
because sometimes like you have these situations, right, where, for example, there's some stuff like glass. There might be a facility like so many miles away and they can't recoup enough of it. So you're saying they recoup 10%, but then you have like these trucks that
They have too much.
drive the stuff out there, and then there's a carbon footprint for that, and then there's a carbon footprint for
It
running
is
the
a net
facility,
negative.
and then it ends up being like a net negative actually
net
in a
negative.
lot of the.
you're right.
It's insane.
But people
right.
hate that. But I always like Ian. I used to love. I mean, I still do like telling people that. I get like this sick.
Yeah, well, now
thing
I'm
about-
that guy. Now I'm that guy.
But they're
Like,
like,
I'm like it's
Pass
just
the torch.
yeah. There's some girl like recycling. I'll just be like, you know, that's a scam, right? And they'll just get so mad.
yeah, but like I think where we need to get to is like a collective agreement that it is a scam and like find a better solution going forward, which people are already working on. There are solutions like different types of like cellophane adjacent stuff made of seaweed that like the reason why the recycling of plastics won't work is because creating new plastics is always cheaper than recycling old plastics. So that's the problem.
Yeah, there's not enough demand for it as well in the supply chain.
Yeah, but if we
Like a pair of shoes Adidas will make that's like from recycled materials, but there's not enough demand.
yeah, if we
know,
actually
people don't
get
want-
this like collective agreement, we understand it's bad for us, then like I actually think there is a way forward where this like single-use plastic will like become less prevalent in our lives and like enter our oceans and our fish and our bloodstream and our everything. Like these actually
grab some. I think we need a couple beers while you're up, buddy.
yeah, get some beers.
Thanks, buddy. No, calling out the scam is the first step to help. Like we're helping. by being. I don't even think I'm being cynical. I'm just being like that doesn't work.
Yeah, no,
Because if you don't call that out, then you just keep doing it. Everybody just does stuff to feel good instead of doing stuff to like.
You're
solve
so
problems.
often cynical that it did feel like you're being sarcastic a little bit. Like we're helping, like, but you're being real. Like
I'm being both. I am being cynical because I think so much stuff like in the world is like this. People just do stuff to feel good about themselves. Politicians do things to make people feel good about themselves or to make them look better. That's not like problem. It's not solution oriented. It's just purely. It's just all vibes based.
yeah, signaling.
Policy.
Yeah,
It's all signaling. It's all vibes. So yeah, it's like breaking that illusion for people, although it is painful, is the first step to getting help. So thank you for validating me.
and you can always get free compost in San Diego, which is amazing.
Tom Nunn, we tried that with paper straws, and people called us communist soy boys. You are a communist soy boy if you advocate for paper straws. Paper straws, like I think paper straws are actually a good example of this, where like I don't think they actually
Bro, I don't think that's
solve
that
any sort
important.
of.
That sound is probably too much.
We got some fan noise over here. Yeah, no, the paper straws were like they're like ridiculous. The paper straws are like they're like the paper bag versus the plastic bag thing, right? Like the efficiency of the plastic bag is so incredible. Like that the best one is like when people have like the canvas bags, right? And they go to the grocery store using their reusable canvas bag. But in reality, like if you run the numbers on like what goes into making that bag, you would have to like reuse it something like 40,000 times for it to actually help the world over just using
Damn,
the
is that right?
plastic bag.
Did not know that.
Somebody fact check me on that. It's an incredible number.
Wow.
And even like a paper bag, like I think you have to reuse it like 20 times or something ridiculous for it to
Really?
like actually legitimately be better.
Damn.
Most
than
people
the
don't like. I
plastic.
hate waste. Like not waste of like I didn't like just the idea of something not being regenerative and sustainable.
You don't mean like the lettuce going bad in your fridge or something?
No, I don't mean it like that. Like for me, I was saying my dad like was big on this. Like he just like instilled this idea in me that like you need to be a responsible person that doesn't just like create waste in landfills. Like you've got to like focus on like being green. Like
Well, I got
it's an
some
important thing.
I got some numbers for you guys.
Yeah.
Based on my alpha, since San Diego, the city implemented those green bins, the green waste, like the leaves. They've reduced the tonnage of deposit into our landfill by 1/3.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
And the numbers was like 600 million tons, like something astronomical, down to 400 million.
All right,
tons.
that's good. Kudos.
Yeah, I was also pleasantly
You
surprised.
gotta applaud the good policy
Yeah.
when it happens. All right, so recycling largely a scam. Use less shit.
Remember you had to like
Reuse
memorize
more
the
stuff.
songs as a kid and everything?
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
God, they really
RECYCLE recycle.
they propagandize you so much as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's crazy. Everything back
Yeah.
being a kid, like how much you were just basically propagandized with cute little melodies for shit.
Almost completely.
Well, I was thinking about the melodies. This is another like little meandering, but I was thinking about what melodies that still live rent free in my mind, like what corporate jingles.
Oh, the jingles? I thought you meant like kids songs.
No, but are there some corporate jingles that like you will never forget? Because I still have.
I still remember like the old Coca-Cola jingle. Remember that one?
What was it? Always Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that one was a banger.
Damn, I forgot
Whatever
about that
happened
one.
to that one?
You brought it right back.
Oh God, I feel like there's no good jingles anymore.
I'm more of a
what happened to
man-
all the good jingles?
I'm more of a Manteca water slides guy.
Manteca water.
Yeah, it was a
slides.
local
Wait, what?
hit. It was a local banger.
That wasn't
It was a
relatable at all.
NorCal banger.
That was
All my
not
NorCal, my NorCal boys.
Such a deep cut.
Exactly, two people in the audience who were like,
Dude,
"Yeah,
Manteca water slides goes so hard.
Well, I got a lot of those. I got a lot of like the local jingles.
Manteca water slides, slipping and a slide until the do. And then,
Bro, that sounds like somebody showed up to the meeting and they were like, "Oh fuck, I forgot I had to write a jingle." And they're like, "So, what do you got for me?" And he's like, "Manteca water slides, slipping and sliding
till the
everybody
sun,
sing."
sun comes out. Bring the whole family. Oh,
Damn it, Jackson, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's what we've been waiting for.
oh.
Oh,
Did
man.
Sleep Train have one?
Good pull,
Trying to
man.
remember
Good
some
pull.
good ones.
Take the water slides. Good pull.
Oh man.
Chad, do you guys have any other favorite jingles from back in the day? Maybe I'll sing one.
Ooh.
Best jingle is 877 cash now.
now.
Oh.
877 cash now.
1877 cars for kids.
877
KARS
cars for kids.
Yeah.
I don't know
That was
that.
a good one, Tensky. Thank you.
Yes. Call 877 cash now. Yeah, that's a good one.
Man, it's been the longest pod intro ever.
Sorry.
It's not the intro.
We're like an hour.
This is the juice.
Okay, the reason why I thought of it was because there's this deep cut. You had to be a certain age for this one. Gatorade.
Gatorade. I can't think of a
A
Gatorade.
Michael
jingle.
Jordan commercial.
Be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Be like
Oh,
Mike.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Be like Mike.
But the song was epic. I actually
Yeah.
looked it up on YouTube today because I was like wanted to jam. It's like be like Mike, be like Mike,
Yeah.
like Mike. If I could be like Mike, and
it's
I,
a banger.
it's so good.
Yeah.
No, you know, it just popped into my head. Toys R Us.
What's that one?
How did
I
it
don't
go?
want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
What about Chuck E.
There's a
Cheese?
billion.
Did they have a?
You'd think so.
They must have. What was it?
I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah, Toys R Us might be the.
Chuck E.
the-
Cheese,
the
they just
biggest
have that
one.
like nightmare fuel rat.
Do you guys remember the particular smell of feet in the ball pit?
Yeah.
The,
Right?
Yeah.
the plastic and
Like the
sp-
dirty,
feet.
dirty boys.
But
It's
did
very
it bother
unique.
you? Because like I would just dive in head first.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, so I wasn't getting out.
No, I
It
was
was a
like,
trade-off.
fuck yeah, it smells like the ball pit.
Yeah, ball pit.
Yeah.
The ball pit
Ball
as a
pits
kid
now
was
as
like,
a kid.
oh my God,
I took
so
I
good.
took Rumi to this like ball pit play place. It's like every ball is like sanitized.
Yeah, we make sure we sanitize every ball.
It's like nothing like how we grew up.
Yeah.
some guy in the back
Nothing.
just putting balls individually under the UV light. Just
Dude, I don't know what Chuck E. Cheese was like. I'm like, did the parents have to pay? I don't remember shit, right? But like at this place we went, it was like $60 for the child, and then each parent had to pay like $20 just to walk in. And it's like you just get this, and what you're paying for is the cleanliness and the safety and all that stuff. Chuck E. Cheese to me felt like the most, democratic, like anybody from anywhere, like walk in. Oh, was there a fee to walk in?
No.
Yeah, there wasn't, right?
No, you just paid quarters to like play the game.
To play the games. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then like $1.50 for a slice of pizza.
Yeah, you'd pay for the shitty pizza.
Yeah.
bro, Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid
I should
was
go
like
there.
There was no happier time in my life.
Dude,
than, like when
Chuck
my
E.
uncle,
Cheese.
I had like a cool uncle who would take me to do stuff. And like when he would take us to Chuck E. Cheese,
Yeah, there's nothing better.
Chuck E. Cheese is heaven. Like,
Yeah,
I
for
think,
oh
child.
my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a better way to spend my day.
Just any arcade. As
but
a kid.
I also feel like we're similar in the same regard where like our parents didn't like allow Chuck E. Cheese that much. Like I wasn't like allowed to go to Chuck E. Cheese by my parents. It had to be like the cool uncle.
No, I wasn't either. It was like there's too much fun.
Yeah, you
Can't be having that
you
much.
can't have fun.
Can't be having that much fun.
What are you doing having
To
fun?
this day, if I'm having fun in my life, I think there's like a problem.
Yeah, guilty.
I just feel guilty about having too much fun. Like anything that feels too good or is too fun, like there's immediately a voice in my head that's just like, Jesus doesn't like what you're doing. Jesus was not having that much fun. You think Jesus was having fun when he was
It's so
nailed up on
crazy
the
to me
cross?
just be shamed by God all the time. Like that's just like what?
Oh my God.
That's
I was
Catholicism?
just- it's just
Yeah.
that's just called being an Italian Catholic, buddy.
Yeah, just always shamed.
Did you not have that growing up?
No,
No shame?
No shame.
Wow.
There was. I don't
No
even
wonder
know.
you're so free and I'm such a
No shame.
troubled.
No rules. I'd be like, what does God say about this? And they'd be like, We're
There
not
is-
sure.
There is no God.
I mean, they didn't go as far as to say there is no God, but they were like, we're all trying to figure it out, and you should try to figure it out
Yeah, it's a
too.
great question, man. You should keep on asking great questions because
I'm
in
really
great
lucky.
questions lie great answers.
I'm lucky that I didn't grow up religious, I think, because a lot of it what is like you go through this journey of like, oh my God, I was lied to, or people go through a lot with that. I actually went from like not being religious to becoming very spiritual. Actually, I went through a period of like extreme atheism. Then became
Wonder if that's common. Like the,
I'm sure
the
it
whole
is.
like
yeah, religious to atheism, back to a form of
Yeah,
spirituality.
it's super common.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's probably what you went through,
Yeah,
basically.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
yeah.
You could try like all the flavors of ice cream. I think some people have to try all the flavors of ice cream to be like, okay. I mean, I knew I liked chocolate, but like I really had to try the pistachio and all this other crap before I knew I liked chocolate. And then there's also some people that just like have to touch the hot stove. It's just like I know this is gonna burn me, but like I gotta touch it.
Yeah.
I gotta touch it. Oh, yep, that definitely hurt. Don't want to do that again. I always have to. I have to touch the stove. I have to step on every single rake,
Yeah.
and I have to try every single flavor of ice cream. Otherwise, like I can't be.
I mean, in this analogy,
content.
what is the touching the hot stove? What hurts you through belief?
um,
I think you just mean you
so,
want
I
to
mean,
experience.
there's so many things.
Right.
So many things. Sleeping with terrible women. Good example. You're like, I know this will ruin my life. I know this person's gonna ruin my life. I know exactly what's gonna happen to me, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because like I just can't help it. I have to touch the stove, and you do it, and that person ruins your life. You go to therapy for 2 years,
Nice.
hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
But now like you have that experience of the stove ingrained in your brain, and whenever you go to another stove, it's just like ooh, something is like and you pull back.
Yeah.
Pull back reflexively. But without that, you're drawn towards it like a moth to a flame. It's going to incinerate you because you're a moth.
Some
and
people are really
fire's
good
bad.
at not needing to touch the stove. They're good at learning from other people's wisdom.
But those people, I feel like, don't do as much cool shit in life either.
Yeah, they're a little. I guess it depends on what you define cool shit, because I'm talking about the things that specifically burn you,
Yeah.
which you could argue all it's doing is hurting you, and it does gain you life experience, and it does make the experience broader. But some people I've met in my life, it's rare, but they're just really good at being like, my uncle told me, my mentor told me, my so-and-so told me, don't touch that, don't do that. And you know what? I trust them, and I didn't need to. I didn't need to learn
I
for
know those
myself.
people, and they're all like the dentists. You use the dentist analogy, right? They all are the dentists. They all do very well. They have a good low variance, high earning life. But I feel like those types of people, they never do like the truly like amazing, incredible shit. Because I think you have to have that like tweaked
Yeah.
little thing.
true.
I mean, am I wrong? Do you think you can do
No.
great things like staying in the lines, never touching the stove?
No, I mean, that's not me. Yeah,
It's not me.
it's not me at all.
Are you a stove toucher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've touched some stoves.
Opened a couple ovens.
Stuck my head in.
I'd like to see what it's like.
All right, I want to talk about South Korea.
All
Let's
right.
get
Was
into
that
it.
next?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I have to do the. Oh shit! I forgot to take a ZBiotics. God damn it!
Oh.
It's gonna be a bad morning for me.
boy.
Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by our beloved sponsor, ZBiotics, the world's greatest.
We
Free
should
alcohol
make a
probiotic
ZBiotics
drink.
jingle. Right here on this
Start
pod.
right now.
Start right now. What if it takes off?
I don't want to grow up.
I feel it has to start off with like, so here's the story from A to Z Biotics, and then somebody comes in and
Hold up.
jumps and. So this is not going well.
Holy shit. Mass appeal right there. Kid friendly.
ZBiotics. No, that's terrible.
Okay, I see where he's going with it now. It's called
He is a
ZBiotics,
musician.
A to Z. I get it.
I need a keyboard in front of me or like a guitar, and then I could give you some stuff.
Okay, we'll work on the jingle next
We'll
time.
put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Anyway, ZBiotics is your first drink of the night for a better tomorrow. Wow, how good is that line? You take this bad boy. Imagine I'm holding ZBiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Open it, drink it. Before you drink, the next day, you will feel less shitty.
So much better.
So much less shitty.
So much better.
Unlike me tomorrow in the future. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, God damn it. Why
Yeah,
didn't I go into Nick's drawer?
I'm gonna have to pace
Just
myself.
steal his ZBiotics. Anyway, ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. Help support the pod. Make your life better.
Yeah, it's for people like us, you know, have a few drinks after work, nothing too crazy.
If
You wanna
you're
wake up
going out to the
fresh.
bar, if you're like me, you're spending like $80 getting cocktails because you live in some ridiculous city and that's just like your normal thing, just spend an extra $6 and just, it's a very small surcharge on the bill.
Yeah,
Think
it's
about your
probably
productivity
it's
the
probably
next
less
day.
than the courtesy tax in San Diego
Yeah.
that they put on your bill.
Like the benefit relative to the cost, just ridiculous. ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. What's the special we get? Do you remember the special?
Yeah, 15% off.
15% off?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, cool. Love it. Thank you, ZBiotics.
Hey.
We love you guys.
Yes.
Anyway,
Thank
you wanted to talk about
the end of a country.
South Korea. So you sent out a thing in the group chat a couple of days ago
Mm-hmm.
about how South Korea is basically going to not exist in like 30 years.
Yeah.
Couple
in about
generations?
35 years.
Their birth rate is currently 0.7.
The lowest ever recorded.
2.1 is the minimum to have your civilization not die.
Right.
They're at 0.7.
Right.
It's fucking wild. I was watching this video you sent out, and
Yeah, they're a third. They need to triple their production.
like there's going to be this
survive.
point in the very near future where they just have this massive like old aging people who are just consuming resources and just no young people to support them.
Yeah.
It's like a wild visual. You're talking about just complete
Might be worth showing.
collapse of society.
You know.
You're
a
trying
quick-
to
quick
put
clip?
something up on the
Do
screen?
we,
Is it
do we
not
have
possible?
capabilities?
I don't know. I mean, it can't be any worse at the beginning of the pod, so
Yeah, we might not have capabilities.
We might
we
not.
don't,
We might not.
we don't know if the laptop works. What's on the there's? I just see a Hostess Cupcakes commercial on the TV right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't look good.
It's not looking
so
good.
don't do it.
I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this channel, just so we're clear on what we're talking about, the title of the video on YouTube is "South Korea is Over." Kurzgegast?
It's fucking over. man.
Kurzgegast? How do you say?
It's like the
It
worst
is the
branding
greatest-
of all time.
It is a great channel, but I can't say the name of the channel. Kurzgesagt.
That does not roll off the tongue.
Yeah. But that channel, I found
Kurzgesagt?
like some great content in there, even outside of this content, which is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. I mean, they're known for, remember the egg?
the egg.
Remember they do one on the Fermi paradox?
Yeah.
They just break really interesting topics like this down. But
And then like show it via cartoon, which is
yeah,
helpful.
I posted in the Discord. Go YouTube it if you haven't seen it. Highly recommend it. It's like a 10-minute video.
All right,
well
well,
worth your time.
I think people can grasp the
TLDR.
gist of this.
Yeah,
the
we have
TLDR
this
is this an entire
infertility problem.
society, entire culture will be gone.
Yeah.
What bothers you the most about this? Because you saw this and you were like, "Fuck." Why does it matter?
Well, I think it's art designed to create a reaction, just like I mentioned the same thing about the AI essay, right? 2020. What was that called? That essay?
AI 2027.
2027. Yeah.
Mm.
And the idea here is that here's the most extreme example of what the infertility crisis and population collapse scenarios can look like. And it's actually not so much an infertility crisis, it's just literally population collapse because of societal and cultural issues in the country.
Yeah.
This isn't because people can't get pregnant. This is because people are choosing not to because they're being forced not to because they have nothing worthwhile to live for. One anecdote that's also really terrifying. Did you guys know that South Korea has the highest suicide rate in the world?
Yeah.
Like
I didn't know that.
insane, like what's going on in this country. And if you just read the comments,
The comment
As
section.
you were saying,
the comment section
of
of
this
this
video.
video is incredible.
it's
It's like
heart-wrenching.
it's like Koreans
Yeah.
talking about their own plight. It's fucking crazy.
It's really crazy. And so it's not simple, right? It's like they are forced to work long hours. They have not enough resources. They're not having fun. They're not supported. They don't have enough family. They don't have childcare, even if they wanted to find somebody and cohabitate and have some kids or whatever. There's just everything is working against them to be able to build these families, and it's only getting worse. I guess they had one good year last year where they finally just like kind of popped up a bit
Ticked
because
up a little.
they
0.72.
have awareness now of like what's happening, and it's like they have to solve this. But the scenario the video paints out is like you're gonna have like one child for every 100 people.
Yeah, I think like it's easy to like math it out if you just like extrapolate for a few generations what happens. Like you end up with no people. That's what happens. I think what's interesting to me is to try to diagnose like why it's happening, and is this exclusive to Korea, South Korea, or is this like a phenomenon that's like, are we on the verge of this in like Western civilization?
Yeah. So the thing that to double click on that, the thing that terrifies me the most about this is it's not just the end of a country. It's the end of a culture and a people and a race and a civilization. It's the end of Korea. Like all the history, everything that has ever existed from these people for generations will be gone. And even to solve it, like the risk of what is actually occurring in these societies where you have a less than 2.1, creation rate of children, is what you have on the line is actually much more important and much bigger than anyone is really highlighting. The only resolution is immigration, right? You bring in a lot of immigrants from other countries, fine. What are you really doing? You're saving the nation. You're not saving the people. You're not saving the culture. You're not saving the race.
Totally.
You are literally just making sure the country doesn't collapse by bringing in, innovation and people and youth and energy to make sure that the economy doesn't fall apart. But the economy dying and the people itself dying, the civilization dying, the culture dying are two completely different things.
Totally.
What's terrifying is the end of a culture. This can happen in France. This can happen in many countries. This can happen in many Western countries.
I thought what was also scary is that like the people in the comments, the guy I've never been to South Korea. I've flown through it, but I've never actually been there, so I don't know. But like the people in the comments were describing that the government is already enacting policies to try to mitigate this, decimation of their population. So like they're giving baby bonuses, they're giving like stipends to help people with childcare. Like they're already like giving sort of like the financial sort of comforts that you would imagine, and even with that, the people, the populace is deciding still like, it's not worth it to me, which is shocking because you'd imagine that'd be like the Band-Aid solution, right? You'd be like, oh, well, the government just pay a little money, solve this. And what we're finding is that it's not.
They're
actually
lacking
enough.
a unifying motivation, a unifying force, a unifying mission, a unifying vision.
A why?
A why. They are lacking it. They clearly don't have it. You read the comments, you talk to people, your Korean friends,
So one of
whatever you
their-
want to do,
okay,
they're lacking this.
So one of
why.
the whys that I saw in the comments, and again, I've never been, so like I would welcome anybody to tell me why. But like what people were saying in the comments, one of their reasons why not was that because of the way their culture assigns expectation to all of them, to a place where like you can never live up to this expectation. Life doesn't actually become pleasant. It's like all of life to them feels like suffering, essentially, because the weight of expectation is so grandiose that everything just feels like failure, and they don't want to bring up a child in that culture, which is shocking to me.
And therefore, precisely why, in terms of all industrialized first world nations, they have the highest levels of depression, anxiety, suicide, and so on.
Totally.
They don't see a way out. People, when you don't see a way out and you feel trapped and everything is stacked and you have this, what's the point? So like, I think they're kind of like, it's like you're losing the game and you're like, well, we could give it a shot. There's this 1% chance if we do X, Y, and Z and everything goes according to plan, we can find a way out where future generations will survive and prosper. And I think they're just looking at it and saying,
But like,
why don't I just not make my life harder?
yeah, I'll just live out my days in
And-
in a more pleasant way.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I guess like where I landed on it is kind of like wondering what's the difference in other westernized nations, because we also play by these similar sort of dogmas, you know, like, I mean, maybe it's less extreme in the US, but like everyone still feels that pull, I believe.
Have you guys heard of the 4B movement?
No.
It's probably like one of the most sort of like radical feminist movements on earth, and it's Korean in origin. It's from like Korean women. It's basically just like an outright rejection of like marriage, dating, heterosexual sex with men, and childbirth, obviously. And I think a lot of it is rooted in bad stuff that men have done in Korean culture. But it's sort of like resulted in, you know, obviously this to a large degree. And I think that it's also popular with like a lot of, you know, girls on TikTok in the West here, because they see like elements of it where they're like, yeah, fuck this shit. But it's so dangerous to society to have people buy into that, because you're basically committing suicide, like as a society, like
As a society,
if you don't have babies, which is kind of, it's weird. Like I was actually having a conversation with like a girlfriend about this like a week ago maybe, and I was just like, you have to have babies, like you have to make more humans, otherwise you cease to exist and like nothing matters. And she was just basically like, yeah, who cares? That was crazy to me, but it's just like, if you don't care about that, like, can you care about anything? Like, what can you care about? Like, if you don't even care about the human species, like, going on.
It's the most nihilistic way of living I've ever seen.
I just feel like once you buy
It's
into that
selfish?
idea,
Like, what is
like, everything that is downstream of that thought just
And
is
I'm
like
not
very
like
dark.
I'm not judging your friend. I'm actually just trying to diagnose what that is. Like, is that like really selfish because you're just saying like, I don't care about anything in the future. I just want to make my own life more comfortable. Is that what that is?
It's absolutely selfish. There's no other way. I mean, I'm trying to think of.
They wouldn't describe it as selfish.
I know
Like,
they wouldn't, but that worldview.
Have you seen that like right wing meme where it just talks about how like people on the left like care more about like rocks than they care about like humans?
We had an whole episode.
We
on it,
we did
brother.
an episode on it, right? I think that they genuinely are of the belief that humans are bad and rocks are good and nature's good and we're bad. So
That's
anything that
obviously
eliminates us.
nonsense. Like the universe without the spark of consciousness of humanity is not the same universe anymore. Like, what is it? We just want to make sure that Mama Earth is happy and we're not here anymore. That's the outcome. That's insane.
I know. And okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I did at this point in time. And I was drinking, so
Ooh, I love
don't
this.
judge me too harshly.
No, but drunk Steven talking to people that he disagrees with is
so-
probably my favorite. Steven.
So I'm
Voice is
talking.
going higher.
Yeah, a
I'm-
lot of
I'm-
high pitch.
I'm talking to this girl, and she's trying to tell me about why humans are bad. It'd be better if like we didn't exist or anything. And I was just like, so you just think humans are just sort of inherently like a drag on Earth? It'd be better if there were like less of us. She's like, yes. I'm like, so I go, so why don't you just kill yourself?
That's awful.
I know, but I
didn't
wasn't
mean
I
to
wasn't
laugh.
telling her
I didn't
to
mean
kill
to
herself. But my autistic brain is just like, okay, you think there would be better if there were fewer
Yeah,
humans.
you were doing like a logic.
You first.
You were doing like a logic problem.
And then she was like, no, obviously. But then I was like, why? Why don't you? And then like at this point, the discussion kind of went off the rails, and it didn't turn into the deep introspective thing I thought it would, where she would be like, yeah, why don't I want to kill herself? She just started like
it was
calling me like an
it was
asshole.
Unproductive
and-
after that.
Yeah, so it
Nice way to
didn't
put it.
it didn't go well. It didn't go well, and I understand why it didn't go well. But like I still think there's like a point in there, which is that like everybody who says this like right, if I ask any of them to like jump off a cliff, none of them will do it, and it's just like well why? because there's like a
Bro, this is
there's
the
like
same
this
as people who want to take care of everybody, and the moment you say like, "All right, have this person move in your home," they're like, "Well, not me. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody else."
yeah.
It's the same shit. It's the same shit. So, other countries, by the way, China, obviously, 1.1, 1.0. A lot of Asian countries, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, but also Italy, Spain, Ukraine, Portugal, Japan also in the east. And
Below
then
the 2.1 threshold.
way below. These are all around 1.2, 1.3. Do you know what the U.S. is?
2.1.
No.
no, it's below
We dropped
replacement.
from 1.78 in 2022 to now 1.62.
Yeah, we're just making up the
Huge
difference
drop.
with immigration.
2%.
It's immigration that's solving our issues.
Yeah, I mean, the
Well-
good news for us is we're a melting pot and our culture will persevere, I think, I hope, right? But I'm just, I'm very sad
Well,
to see
dude-
the situation in these countries.
Armand, like, I'm 6 weeks in to having one child.
Mhm.
I can empathize with people who are saying that's not for me. This shit is so hard, and it's like it's in many ways awful at the beginning, and the payback comes over a lifetime, right? So you get the benefit on a long tail, but in the immediate, it's
Yeah,
like
it's the Dick Van Dyke that we got banned for.
yeah. Right. So you got this immediate cost, and the cost is not just like a financial cost. It's like an energy and emotional. It's like everything.
Yep.
And then you get like this like long tail payoff, which I think is like insurmountable. Like, and you and I think it's no brainer. We'd agree that like you would never trade it for anything. But I can understand why people would like view it and be like, no thanks.
It's a symptom of soft times, though, bro. Like, no one feels the responsibility and the burden that they need to carry right now. There is something that has existed throughout the cycles of humanity that people just accept the fact that their job is to procreate. They just know that inherently. It's just what you do. But a symptom of soft times is this. Everything is, in so many ways so good, obviously also very turbulent and challenging politically and culturally. Don't get me wrong, of course things are very challenging economically, I get all of that, but in so many ways you have so much privilege that you allow yourself, that you can afford yourself selfishness.
Okay, so I like
And
this
so
idea.
you don't carry this burden of like, I am here to sustain humanity. That is like one of the things I was like born with. That is like a mandate of mine.
Yes, this is the thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit, because this is the thing people say. So the very common thing you'll hear from people is just like, oh, you want me to have kids in this economy? I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to do this. But the very fact that you're even saying that in the first place shows that there's just been this like complete fucking inversion of like the priorities of life that is enabled by the fact that you live in such a cushy society. So because society is so cushy, you're sitting here being like, well, I can't have kids because of X, Y, Z. The mere fact that you say that is like emblematic of how cushy society is, because 1,000 years ago, nobody would have ever said that. You just have kids. Like that is life. And
Yeah.
you just do that, and then you figure out all the other fucking shit after that. But
Okay,
now like
so-
we live in this thing where it's just like, okay, well, this isn't like the thing, it's like a thing, and it's a thing that like I should do, like I want to do, but it's not like a must do. And because it's like an I want to do, now I'm like, I can't do it, so like I feel burdened by
Yeah, you
these other
find these
things, so I'm not
reasons.
going to do it. you
Find
know?
So when like I know you had just looked up the stats on a lot of nations that were underperforming the 2.1 sustainability level. I had previously looked up some nations that were well above it, and they were all like kind of like the poorer ones, like a lot of poor nations. And I was wondering if that was like chicken or the egg. Like, is that Steven's point that they just like don't have the privilege of even asking the question, or is it like, yeah, I guess like with the privilege thing, is it like they don't have
Oh my
they don't have
God.
access to like prophylactics or something?
Holy shit! Some of these countries fucking produce humans.
These countries
Angola 5.76.
I
Congo,
mean, we're gonna
5.5.
get crushed by Africa.
Africa just
The Africa fertility rates are like off the
6.7 in
chart.
Niger, Benin, Uganda. It's all Africa. Somalia, South Sudan, Burundi,
It is like an interesting thing that you bring up, which
all
is like
above 5.
why does prosperity lead to
too less.
because it leads into what I'm talking about, right? Where it's
Yeah.
just like the most prosperous nations are the very ones where people are like, well, I can't afford this.
Yes.
And it's like there's something weird about it that doesn't quite make sense.
Well, there's prosperity, but there's culture. So these cultures are reliant on each other, and they're more community focused and based. So the idea of like paying somebody $5,000 a month for childcare is like absolutely hilarious to them. The idea is that your community is raising your children alongside you, and you got 6 to 10 kids, and that's not a big deal. That's
Right.
completely standard. They have 19 uncles and aunts,
Yeah.
and you're fine, and they're fine.
I think it's just an excuse people make up, right? I think with prosperity comes a lot of shiny objects, and people just like the shiny objects better, and then they make up these reasons why I can't have kids. But in reality, it's just because like, oh, I just like all these shiny
Just means
objects,
less
and I don't
shiny
want to
objects?
give
I
them
agree
up.
with that, but I also actually believe that the way society is constructed in the West is working against our ability to procreate, right? Like I
agree with that as
genuinely
well,
feel
yeah.
that the way these societies are constructed you're seeing the problem in Asia, which is really interesting, but in Africa, this community focused, and maybe Central Asia, I assume the numbers are higher. In India, it's higher. That community focused child, raising, bearing situation really enables people to feel more comfortable to raise. There's this one thought I just had as well. It's really important. Like if you won the lottery, would you be giving with your money toward like people that you love and donate toward causes that you care about more than maybe you are today? I think most people would,
Probably, yeah.
right? Like winning the lottery is one of the great blessings and fortunes. You literally won the lottery. I think what people don't realize at a core fundamental level is existing itself is the greatest gift of all time. You won the lottery. You are alive. Somebody had to make you. You're a 1 in a trillion chance of being here on this planet today. That is unbelievable. And part of that should be instilled in us is that because you had the great fortune of being alive, you deserve and you should take on the burden and the responsibility to provide that opportunity to somebody else. That doesn't get discussed at all, ever.
Yeah.
It is the greatest miracle of all to be alive. Why not offer that to more souls, to more beings?
Yeah.
People, I mean, I think people just don't feel grateful because I think when life is easy for you, you sort of lose sight of the fact of how hard things actually are if you zoom out and like have perspective. And then because you don't have that, you don't appreciate stuff. And then you start kind of like hating on all the very stuff that allows you to exist because you don't have the framework to appreciate it. And then in doing so, you sort of destroy that very structure. This is the sort of like weak men create hard times, hard times create strong men thing. And like why we are sort of like, as we were talking about, in that weak men create hard times phase, because we are in a time where I think people have lost sight of like Western society, especially, and why it's so good and why it has enabled us to thrive in a way that we have. And you see people sort of like turning against it without kind of appreciating the elements of it that allow them to exist. And then so as a result, we end up having this battle for Western society where we may even end up destroying it. And we may have to reinvent the whole wheel
clearly,
again.
yeah, we're going to have to reinvent society.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully
some,
people
some
just...
of these societies are going to die. Some of these cultures are going to die, and humanity will have to go through a form of resurrection. Like there will be a sort of depletion of population, and then those hard times when they're fully embodied, people will unify toward this cause of like, okay, it's important to do this. And
Yeah,
they'll do it again and rebuild, but
Well,
it'll
I like
be different.
I like the way you describe it in terms of like a culture dying, because like as a capitalist, I think of like the inefficiencies that will be created. So like in South Korea, if there's no young people, then like that will create a demand for an influx of young people, and there'll be like great opportunity for people to go there and like work jobs where they can like make a great living. And I think that will probably occur. But to your point, they won't take with them the culture of the South Korean predecessors.
But what's
Yeah.
interesting if you game out how this all plays out is that in the U.S. especially, you wouldn't have this like society-wide thing where just like everybody stops having babies, blah blah blah, right? Because you have these like two different Americas. It's similar to what you have in Israel, right? Where you have this like right-wing portion of Israel that actually has tons of babies, and they've sort of like legitimately like put themselves into the majority of government, but just like out reproducing the other side. And like we would probably have a similar thing here, where you have this sort of like right-wing segment of the country that is like kind of more rural, more into Jesus and everything, and like sort of more into family, and they have more babies. So you could kind of like game through this like weird scenario where like half of the country, you know, decades in the future ends up in this weird spot where there's like 2 old people for like every young person. And then that segment of society sort of is like collapsing. And then there's this like other segment of the country that is just still normal. It's like the rural religious segment, the God-fearing segment. There's just been like having more babies and like all that structure is intact. So you can kind of see this like weird kind of thing where like there's people living or born into this society and they're like, fuck this is turning into like a fucking nightmare. Like I'm like slaving away to like support all the old people and like there's nothing here for me. And then they kind of like find their way into the South and it's just like, oh, you're just working on farms and shit with your family and everything's kind of cool. And it so like the whole thing wouldn't like go off the rails in the same way at the same time. Like you would have like a bifurcation of like society A and society B, and then like you would have people like probably trying to defect into that society. Like if I was a young person and I was born into that society where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 22 and I'm basically just funding this like massive social security program for these old people who are just sucking up all the resources. I'm in like a pyramid scheme. Like I would want to defect. I would just be like, screw this. I'm just gonna go to church and like work on the farm over here or something. You know, I would just like opt out. Kind of a weird thing to think through, but I think that's what would happen.
I was just thinking, I've like really latched onto this idea of like this like choose your hard type mentality where like everything's hard, but just you get to choose your pathway, I guess. And I was wondering if like on a societal level, this also exists. Like the society exists as a fractal of like micro choice. So what I mean by that is like getting people to raise children and like start their own families is hard. Getting people to like take care of elderly is hard. Choose your hard. Like is that like a real choice?
So people still are trying to not choose hard, which I think is the problem. I think the object is to like have no hard at all.
Mm-hmm.
But like, not only is choosing hard inevitable, it's also good because it gives you like meaning and purpose. I think in a way that isn't like immediately obvious to you, and then also it like causes you to grow and evolve and develop, which is kind of the whole freaking point of life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like why are you even here? Yeah, like you just die eventually. Like all living beings that like don't go under
They need to be
stress.
stressed.
Yeah, they just.
You need to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, like literal. It's in parts of your body. Like if you go to space and don't use your legs just basically like kind of die in a way. You just have to put that stress on there.
Mm.
All right. Well, we got a lot of other stuff on the agenda here. We don't have a
Okay.
lot of time.
Hit it.
That
was good.
What are you guys feeling? Do you want to talk about Biden? You want to talk about
just
robots?
got a little depressed, so you know.
We're kind of doing the episode backwards, I think, this time. Yeah. Do you want to do the?
Well, so we talk about the president.
I mean, we could touch on it real quick.
Sure.
I guess, or maybe it won't be quick.
I'm curious, just your guys' thoughts on, are we being lied to and all that?
Yeah. So I mean, for people who aren't aware, it's come out that basically Biden has like terminal prostate cancer. It's
very
been
sad.
known for a while. And
Well,
it's been just a big like
Is that
oopsie.
is
not
that
officially.
is that speculation?
Not officially, but yes, people look. There's no fucking way you were the president of the United States
And you
you're
missed
getting
it.
and you're like 80. You're getting these you're obviously getting regular exams. There's no fucking way somebody missed that.
But they did miss
somebody
it
knew.
to the point where it evolved to like, we don't know when they diagnosed it and when they found it, right? We don't know. They're telling us it was just recently, which is very hard to believe. But the fact that it's stage 4 means it was missed for a while.
Does it?
Not guaranteed.
I don't.
Right?
I just don't buy the fact that
He
you
wasn't
have.
undergoing therapy, and he wasn't undergoing chemo.
He's the
which-
most
and it
important person in the
metastasized.
world, and he's old as fuck. You don't think he's getting like regular medical checkups?
I 100% assume that he was doing basic things like doing a PSA. 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it was missed, and I don't know how it became stage 4. And it's very sad, first of all. But in terms of like what they knew, and I mean, a lot of me just thinks that, there was this elder abuse going on throughout this whole ordeal of the presidency in the last year, right?
It felt that way.
It felt that way. It seemed that way. It didn't seem like he was really knowing what was going on, cognitively speaking. He was obviously sick
Obviously.
in multiple ways, and it's just all really sad to see how it played out.
I mean, I'm sure there's like angles to take on this that are more interesting, that are like, are we being lied to, is media, whatever. Like the angle that I am most interested in is just like prostate cancer for males. Like I was doing some research that said that 80% of males over 80 years old have prostate cancer. It's just varying degrees of how severe it is. So it's basically in
80%.
80%
I thought it was like 1 in 5.
of males over 80 years old.
I see. Okay.
It's basically like if you live long enough as a man, you're gonna get prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So I was like looking into ways to mitigate it then, like if this is just like a thing that comes for all of us, and it gave me the standard like diet and exercise.
I know nothing about prostate cancer.
Yeah,
So I can't.
I don't either, other than the
couldn't
fact
tell
that
you.
it comes for all of us, I guess,
I mean, fuck. I hope not.
if you live long enough, which is scary. But like, I think it's not always, according to what I was reading, it's not always terminal. It's like you can like have mild cases that you don't die of prostate cancer, you die of something else first.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to take your word on that. Clearly, I should see a doctor at some point.
I got another interesting tidbit for you guys, a little more lighthearted, is that they said if you ejaculate 21 times a month, lower rates of prostate cancer.
That's a lot of ejaculation.
That's what I thought. I was like 21.
21?
20.
What?
Well, then I questioned myself. I was like,
you guys got to pump
I
those
said,
numbers,
is
man.
that a lot?
There's no fucking way you're ejaculating 21 times a
You
month.
guys,
Married guy with 2
rookie
kids.
numbers.
Dude, I'm
Rookie
so glad
numbers.
you said that, because the first thing I thought was like,
This
holy
fucking guy.
fuck, that's a lot. But then I was like, is that a lot? That sounds like a lot.
Oh
Sounds
my
like a lot.
God.
Can't be walking around with a loaded gun, guys.
But they like, I've even seen like, there's like Harvard studies on it. There's like many studies. For some reason, they use 21 times a month as like a fucking standard barometer for a lot. And the other guys are like 4 times a month or so. And the difference is like 30% difference in like the amount of people that have cancer at age 80.
It's like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why would
How
that-
is an 80-year-old 21 times a month?
why would jerking off make cancer not happen?
Well, it's not about jerking off, my friend. It's about ejaculating.
Look, if you're a married man having sex 21 times a month,
I mean, that's a good
God
month.
bless you.
That's a good month.
God bless you. Even I know that that's crazy. So,
And I actually asked ChatGPT, I was like, why would that be beneficial? I was like, well,
but I actually genuinely want to know this. Like, why? Is like
Okay.
there any other part of your body where like if you don't use it, it just turns into cancer?
the new phrase is, if you don't use it, you die.
Use it or die. It's not as sick. Where did use it or lose it come from? Like, what are you losing?
I think that's a real phrase. I think that.
That is a phrase, but like I never
No.
thought about it. Like,
No,
what am
but
I
think it,
losing?
I think it applies.
Is my penis falling off?
I think you mentioned it with like not using your legs in space, for instance. I don't know where it originated, but I think it's like a true platitude.
No, it's definitely a platitude, but I just don't know what they mean by it. Wait, what am I losing?
Anything.
Anything?
If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use your legs, you lose it.
If you don't use your penis, you lose it.
And it's gone.
It's gone. It's just poof.
Steve Carell, 40-year-old virgin.
I do know a story about a guy who went celibate for a year
And
and he lost it.
he lost it.
Yeah,
Wait, what do you mean?
it fell off. It stopped. It
didn't fall off.
It never woke back up.
It never woke back up.
Yeah, I don't know about never, but it didn't wake back up.
Really?
I hope he found a remedy.
Dude, I don't recommend that treatment.
Wait, so
for
he just
anyone.
like looked at women and just felt nothing after a while?
Nothing. Couldn't get hard.
So there's a point where you're so fucking horny, but then like eventually your brain just turns off. You go, "Boo."
Apparently,
Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it, man.
Really?
I mean, it
That
ties.
sounds like a thing like my mom
I'm just
would tell
trying to
me.
provide an
that
anecdote to
didn't make
Eric's
any
bro
sense.
science, and I think I'm doing a good job.
That sounds like bro science combating bro science.
Oh, I'm all for the bro science.
So we just turn this into a bro science pod.
Well,
Well,
I was talking about a
apparently-
Harvard study. Like
There's
I was
apparently no evidence that frequent ejaculation increases or decreases cancer risk significantly.
I'm
Did
so
you
glad
did you ask ChatGPT?
I'm so
'Cause
glad you said
ChatGPT
that.
told me there was a Harvard study that told me it was.
Well, yours was hallucinating.
I can find a Harvard study
That's
about
what I'm
anything.
talking about. This fucking ChatGPT.
I did.
I
actually.
mean, whenever there's like a medical thing and you're just like, well, there was a Harvard study that said like it's just like okay, it's like a study that
Yeah.
supports everything, right?
But
Like,
this
one
just
study.
supports everything that I've been talking about over the last
That's like one of those
months on
studies where
ChatGPT.
they're just like, hey, if you drink 9 bottles of wine a day, you will live longer. And people are like, that's sick because it just supports the thing they want to believe.
for sure,
And they're just like, yeah.
that's how it works. But yeah, I mean, it's
So yeah, Biden.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think that we don't know. We'll never know. It's just like not knowing so many of the things that happen in politics. It's a futile effort to even try to dissect. You know, people will say, hey, it could just be a very aggressive form of cancer that he has, which is what we're being told. And it just developed very rapidly and metastasized in his body. And it's very unfortunate. And then there's other viewpoints that this was completely a cover up and they knew and he's being abused and taken advantage of and or maybe he knew and didn't want other people to know. Who knows? All these
I
scenarios
think
are
that's
at
like
play.
that's like a very healthy outlook. And like if I just continue with that, what are you gonna say? Like if you get to the bottom of it, you Marty, whoever, you want to get to the bottom of this thing, what's your outcome gonna be? That you distrust the media? You already do.
Yeah.
So let's just move forward.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me that if they knew and if he knew to still be compelled to go for the presidency, you know, and like not want to step aside and not want to be honest with the public about what was going on. That's what I think rubs people the wrong way.
Of course he believes that though, because you have to be that kind of a fucking psychopath to be in this position
Yeah.
after so many years to begin with.
Yeah.
Like all these people are fucking deranged. Do you know what a fucking psychopathic narcissist you have to be to think you're
sure.
gonna run the entire world? Of course he believes that.
Right.
And like, of course, like everybody who listens to this pod at this point, most people are probably like, "Oh, I don't trust the media." Yeah, like obviously, this is like episode like 50 of like the amount of like obvious shit that's happened over the last 10 years of my life, where I was like, "Hey, that's fucking happening and or fucked up," and people are like, "No, you're not seeing that. That's something else, right?" Like at this point, we're just like numb to it. We're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
That's another thing that was
We
like
are.
obviously a lie that they tried to gaslight us into believing that like and
Yeah.
like I made note of all the people who I used to talk about Biden being senile with who were just like, come on man, that's like just like right wing propaganda. I
Did
was just
anyone
like,
ever
"All right."
repeat the sharpest attack line to you?
Dude, no. Actually nobody did say sharpest attack to me. If somebody said sharpest attack to me, I would have lost
But
it.
you have to imagine that shit's happening on both sides. So it's like it's literally just media is doing that.
I don't want to both sides it because like
No, it's both sides.
no,
It
because
is both sides.
it is not both sides because like the right-wing media for the last like 10 years has been this fringe conspiratorial media that is out of the mainstream. right? The left-wing media controlled the Biden narrative. They controlled the COVID narrative, right? So you can't be, but like, I know it's tempting to be like, both sides suck, and both sides do bad shit. But if you both sides stuff, I think it diminishes like the problem, like an actual problem, because you could just be like, oh yeah, both sides do that. But it's just like,
of course, I'm diminishing the actual problem. I'm not addressing the actual problem. Is more accurate, but both sides do the same thing.
More importantly, Carby solved the ejaculation hypothesis.
How much does he jerk off?
Well, all I know is that he has the right analogy for this. Ejaculation is like changing the oil for the prostate. One day is equivalent to 5,000 miles of driving. So the maths.
I need some citation on this. Like, who's the scientist?
I think he's jumping on the bro science train, and I think that makes complete sense.
Yeah, Carby, you'd fit right in on this side
right
of the
in.
aisle.
Right in.
Yeah, this is the bro science aisle.
Steven wants citations. Come on, man. Come on, man.
We should just turn this into one of those like right wing, like you know those. If you listen to one of those like kind of like female pseudoscience right wing podcasts, you know, the ones where they're just like everything causes autism and all like that shit. That's the kind of stuff we need.
I like
just
it.
turn this into this. No medical citations.
That's fine. We've never given a citation.
Just fold it.
What else you got?
All right. I guess we're gonna just Tarantino this and just do the alpha stuff at the end.
Sure.
But I wanted to talk about it sounds so dumb talking about it now after the all the prostate talk, but I want to talk about investing in humanoid robotics.
That is quite the left turn.
It sounds so dumb. This is why we do the episode in the opposite way normally.
No, I like it. I like the sharp left.
Yeah.
No, I'm
I have a boner.
I'm realizing there's a reason why we have the structure that we have.
I can go from sex boner to business boner.
I feel dirty
very
doing this,
quickly.
but I'm going to talk about
You're
it
gonna be
anyway
fine.
because I wanted to talk about it. Anyway, our boy Trini over there on Substack. By the way, you guys see how much money Trini makes?
No.
He's got like 70, 80,000 subscribers at $170 a month.
So Trini puts out the best content in financial internet, no question. So I think he deserves all of it.
It's such a cool model. There's a couple guys I follow who you wouldn't even think. Like there's this guy. I think he's in town actually. I need to meet this guy. Have you seen Capital Flows on Twitter?
Never heard of him.
Another macro guy. He's got like tens of thousands of subscribers on Substack at $150 a month.
Gnarly.
These guys making like 7 figures a year, like writing newsletters. Such an incredible thing. But anyway, so Trini put out this like really cool piece, like because we remember we talked was that a year or two ago? I don't know, the original like kind of AI one.
Yeah.
He went down the whole supply chain.
Yeah. So Trini's like sort of like breakthrough piece was like Trini on AI.
His breakthrough thing, I think, was the Silicon Valley Bank. Remember that?
Oh, okay.
Like he called Silicon Valley Bank months in advance, and he was like, "Oh, this is gonna get wrecked."
It only got
Nailed
wrecked
it.
because the government fucking hamstrung it, but okay.
Nailed it. Nailed the trade. Anyway, but he parlayed that into some good shit, and then he great piece on AI. But now he's in the robotics field, which I love. I love because this shit like excites me. This shit excites me. So he's got like kind of like a 2-part piece up in his Substack. I think the first half is free, and it's still good, and you should still read it. And then the second half is behind the paywall. It's got kind of the nitty gritty like. Here's 700 companies I'm buying, ranked by the order of importance and like weighted and all that shit, right? But this thing gets me so excited because we're in this like magical kind of Goldilocks period where you have this perfect balance of a crazy thing that's right on the horizon that you can invest in, coinciding with global macro uncertainty that's weighing down everybody's desire to buy anything, also coinciding with the very industry that is going to benefit having gotten wrecked for years and maybe just coming off its development cycle.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Okay,
What is that
so-
third part you mean?
So a lot of, for example, like semiconductors, companies that manufacture like little components of robots, right? Like a lot of people think that the most expensive part of the robots is like the chips and everything. It's not. It's like all this other shit that goes into robots, right? If you look at all of the charts of these companies, they all look exactly the same. They all like have this spike down during COVID, then they have this like massive leg up, consolidation, and then a fucking even bigger nuke down.
Is the nuke down associated with this like tariff talk? Is that what you described?
No. So what happened across the board? If I pulled up like all of these charts. They all look exactly the same. It's super fascinating. So if you pull up these charts, you can see what happened. So we had COVID, right? And you basically initially during COVID, you have this kind of like just demand destruction, right? Everybody freaks out. Everything goes to zero. Then you basically get like a bullwhip effect. You familiar with the bullwhip effect?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this massive shortage of for like automobiles. Good example of this. You had auto manufacturers just stop making everything. They stopped putting in orders for all these components. The factories that are making like these little chips and everything, or whatever little pieces that go into the cars, they stop making stuff because they stopped getting orders. Then all the demand comes back online. These companies want to buy this shit, and now the factories they can't start up fast enough. The price of everything skyrockets. The price of cars skyrockets, right? And now everybody's dying to get these chips, to get these components, and the valuations for these companies go through the roof because people are like, holy shit, look at these orders. They're just absolutely roofing. Everything's crazy. And then for a period of time, too, the corporations, they remember what it was like to not have the supply, so they order even more. They order like an extra 6 months of inventory just in case. And then what ends up happening is like these factories, they restart all the supply and start overproducing at exactly the worst time, right before all the orders are about to drop off a cliff once again, because everybody already panic bought, overloaded everything for the next 6 to 12 months. And now all these stock prices crater because now no orders come through. You get like whipped in both directions. And people write this off as like, oh, this was just this like flash in the pan thing. All these companies are down like 60, 70%. It's all going to hell. But in reality, we're at like the very trough of like the start of like a new cycle. Where we're about to have like...
Will it be a similar cycle in that sense? Will it always just be like whippy? Or does it stabilize and become like a legitimate future, especially because of what the future holds with robotics?
So there's going to be some whippiness, right? Because to back up to like robot, I want to like hype up robots in general because I'm so fucking excited about robots, right?
Yeah.
Right now we have like AI, and initially GPT came out, and we were at the bar. We're like, this is so fucking sick. I can have it write a poem for me. That's so fun. But then like eventually in our everyday lives, we're like, I don't need any poems written. What would be really fucking cool is if this thing could like do my dishes and like mow my lawn and do my laundry and stuff like that. Like I think we've actually kind of collectively come to the realization about is that like what can actually make this like the best for me right now.
Not to mention companionship, which I think will be a huge thing for our generation and the next generation.
I agree.
And I don't just mean like caring for the elderly. I mean like intimate relationships.
Yeah, being my lover.
Yeah. Marriage.
Yes. Agree with that as well. But these things used to, like a humanoid robot a few years ago probably cost like $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like $16K, $20K.
Mm-hmm.
So they sort of hit there. You guys familiar with like Moore's Law?
Mm-hmm.
We're big fans of Moore on this podcast,
yeah.
Steven.
We lived through the 90s, right? We lived through like the prime period of Moore's Law, where we got like the very first computers. And then for our entire childhood, we just watched them like level up, like 2x every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went through this weird like dark ages decade where our innovation was like social media, and like it was just like the shitty like.
It was the iPhone. It was
it was kind of like
the iPhone
it was like it didn't feel that cool, right? And then we sort of like lost. I think we lost faith in technology. Like we were just like, oh, technology is just this thing that just gives us these weird dystopian level ups that don't actually like help us that much. We've written it off.
Yeah, I mean, every 15 years we have this like major technological innovation that typically comes out of Silicon Valley. The last one was the smartphone software and app generation, and now we're in the AI wave of it. And to your point, you're saying it goes from AI in the cloud to AI instilled in a physical, robotics form.
Yeah, so getting AI from the cloud into the physical instantiation is like could be a wild thing for us.
The next chapter of this cycle.
Because like think about what you can do. So in my life right now, I pay like $500 for landscape, $500 a month for landscaping. I pay like $500 a month for like a housekeeper to come like a couple times a month and clean stuff. And then on top of that, you know, I probably spend like an hour or two a day cleaning up my own house, doing stuff. So you like add
My
all
whole
this up.
staff is going to be robots. This whole time I thought it was going to be people.
Agree.
It's going to be robots.
Yep.
So we're like a few
I'm
years.
still going to personality them though. Like Zanzibar, Mary, Melvin, you know, they're going to be like real to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
that you have a multi-gender.
of course. Some will have accents like, you know, of
Yeah.
like a cool Chilean guy.
South
you know.
African.
Yes, for sure South African.
Yeah,
That's my
goated.
favorite accent,
Yeah,
by the way.
goated.
It's my favorite accent. Yeah. Sorry, Steven. I know this is business talk, but
But like, what's coming down the pike is like we're a few years away from. There's going to be some company that basically leases out
for sure.
a humanoid robot to you
Be
for
sure.
like $500 a month that does all of your dishes, all of your
Is
menial
that
chores,
what you
all
think
of
the
your
business
landscaping.
model will be? You think it'll be more of that like rental Uber style?
For sure, because these
You
things
don't
are still
think
going to
it'll
cost
be-
like $15,000-$20,000.
I'd buy. Why wouldn't you buy your own lifetime? You know, say it lasts 5 years.
Well,
and
I
needs a
think-
I mean,
tune-up
I
every-
probably would too, but like the vast majority of people like can't.
I think I saw
that.
a stat that said like
Okay.
80% of Americans can't afford a $500 surprise payment.
Yeah.
No, I understand. That's to reach the masses, but initially it's like buying solar, like you know, or something. It's an investment, and
But it doesn't pay itself off like solar does. Like having a humanoid
you just
robot.
explained how it pays itself off.
Right, but it pays itself off in a sense that you and I have like
Needs
these like. I was going to
Felt
say.
like that
Wants-
was sexual.
sorry.
I was going to
wants-
say opportunity
wants.
cost of labor, and that we run our own businesses, and
Yeah.
every hour we spend doing dishes like actually is a like dramatic hit to the P&L.
That's the right way to look.
Like
at
if I spend 10 hours a month just doing basic
Cleaning.
house chores, which is a wild underestimate, right, of like how much time I actually spend,
Mm-hmm.
even though I also pay like a landscaper and also pay like a cleaner, like even if it's 10 hours, like for me it's as many thousands of dollars a month, right? So if you tell me I can get a robot for $500, that's basically it's like glorified like bipedal like Roomba that can just go around and do everything for me. That is like an enormous unlock. It's an
Would
enormous
you, would
unlock.
you let a robot that you designed with a great personality raise JoJo and also maybe educate her and be her caretaker and clean your house? And
Yeah. 1000%.
wow.
We're in the Jetsons, baby. We're in
But
the
I,
fucking
but
Jetsons.
I actually,
1000%.
but I like my reluctance is that we're not in the Jetsons, and what he's describing is like many years away, and he's describing it as if it's like here now.
It is here now. You have robots
Yeah,
that
the
are
foundation of it is here.
humanoid robots that cost like $20,000 that are like very close, right? Like this is what I'm talking about when we're saying like Moore's law. Like the bitch about parabolic growth is that like initially it looks like you're just linear. You don't notice stuff happening. And then before you know it, like every year everything fucking doubles. And you're like, "Holy God, how did I get here?" And if you're an investor, bringing this back to the investment thing, you want to be investing the base of the curve right before it goes parabolic.
Mhm.
So to be able to invest now at the inflection point of the general macro uncertainty,
Yeah.
the cyclical absolute bottom of all of these like
I
component
love this.
manufacturers,
I love this.
it's like a crazy opportunity
So
for
what
us.
do I buy?
All right, you gotta download Trini's thing and look at all the shit. There's like literally 100 companies in there.
Give me the top 5.
Okay, the
Tesla.
the easiest one everybody can invest in is Tesla, right? You want to talk about like direct exposure to robots. It's kind of tricky, and if you like read through his report, you will see that a lot of the exposure comes through the supply chain. In a world where people are building millions of robots, what components do we need? Which companies make those components?
And where in the value stack do you want to be buying? Would be my question.
all over
Yeah,
the place,
right. A
All over
little-
the place.
a little bit of everything?
diversified throughout the whole.
Well, I mean, what
Like
makes
picks
the,
and shovels
No,
or
what-
end product?
I think it depends on your time horizon, but what makes the most money ultimately is like getting the one that the consumers buy.
Yeah.
Like, so if you can pick that correctly, the one that consumers buy, that wins no matter what. So like, if-
Why not the hardware? Why not the?
because like this like phenomenon works the same for Taiwan Semi and Apple. It's like Apple makes way more margin
They
than
just
Taiwan
do.
Semi does.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's true, but like again, like if you look at these companies, right, because of what's happened sort of cyclically, they're basically priced. You talk about a company that's like priced to perfection, and I don't want to buy it. Some of these companies are priced to imperfection. Like they're basically priced as though like these sort of current trends are just going to persist forever. So if you buy them and the current trends persist, it's already priced in. But like if you get the hockey stick up, like it's not priced in at all. And like a lot of this stuff from like I've looked at some of these charts from like a technical perspective. Like these things are trading at like the 100-month, 200-month moving averages. Like you're talking about like 6-year, like below 6-year averages of value.
So we're looking at like a 10-year time horizon on a lot of this.
No. I think what's gonna happen is like we're gonna see a cultural phenomenon before like like an investing phenomenon before a cultural phenomenon. So
Yeah.
what we're gonna see is like the prices of these things moon
That always happens,
in a
right?
bubble,
Yeah.
and none of these things will actually create any product that survives. But like you'll 100x your investment off like some no-name piece of shit. Tesla will ultimately win, but like until Tesla wins, which is 10 years down the road, you're gonna have massive investment upside on these small cap names,
And maybe a few do win and do fulfill the promise.
perhaps,
Why do you not think that it's possible?
because I think Tesla's gonna win.
No. Why? What you're saying? They'll win the whole thing. That this will eventually become a reality.
But you're also
I thought
talking
you were
about like
saying it won't.
investing in the end robotics versus like if
Yeah.
you're investing in a company that makes the component that all of the Teslas need to make their stuff, it's probably a lower variance play, right?
I mean, perhaps it's more commoditized play too. So you have like a lot of substitution risk. But like, all I'm saying, like, I'm not even focused on the names. Like, I don't care about the names. What's gonna happen is like we're gonna get swept up in this phenomenon of robotics, which Stephen accurately points out that like this is going to change life as we know it. It's a win, not if. But before it actually happens, investors are going to fucking bid this thing to the moon. Okay?
I agree.
So
And
that's
they
what-
haven't bid it yet.
And it's fucking cheap. And Steven's pointing out that it's cheap as fuck.
Cheap as fuck right now.
So what I'm saying is what Steven's saying. I'm saying the same thing. It doesn't matter that you pick a winner. Pick the fucking dog shit and ride it to Valhalla. Tesla's going to be the winner.
This is like knowing that a bunch of dog shit meme coins, regardless of like throwing. This is like buying, Facebook, Meta, like in that early day.
No,
It doesn't
I
matter.
wouldn't call it that. I'd be calling it, this is buying bonk and whiff and whatever.
Yeah.
Like before moons.
the true meme
but
coin.
but
mania
Facebook
begins.
and Meta or Facebook, Meta, Google, whatever have long existing value and bonk and whiff.
I know,
don't.
but I'm kind of more alluding to the fact that like basically from like the early 2000s through like 2020, you could have bought anything and made money. Kind of in that sense of like
I
the tech bubble.
different story right now.
This is more
Yeah.
like
Different
to
story.
me. This is more like meme coin phenomenon.
Okay, got it.
I think it's hard to invest right now because like I actually had a long conversation with a friend last week about this, and because like I told him how I bought like a bunch of like Mexico ETF because I was just like I don't know about the risk reward of like U.S. stocks as like an index from here. I worry that like everybody in the fucking planet owns U.S. stocks, or like now entering this like paradigm that like we discount because our entire lives we've been in a different paradigm where just everybody recycles money into the US, and like we can't conceive of like entering like a 30-year period where like stocks just don't go like up only to the moon, because we just think that the way we lived our prime years of our life, it will always be like that. right?
Which like there is historical precedence to
Yeah.
say that this
If you
has
zoom
happened.
out back enough, you're like, oh, well, this has happened multiple times actually,
Yeah.
and we'd like to think it won't happen to us, right? So like, I'm wary of just buying the S&P, which is why I like kind of zooming in on these like sector plays, right? Where I'm just like, holy shit, this is like quite literally a generational opportunity. so many of us sit around going, oh man, like I was just a little late to the internet. Like I was investing in the internet when I was 12. I bought like $500 in Microsoft or something.
Yeah, like Yahoo.
Didn't keep it, right? But yeah, Yahoo went to, basically went to zero, all that shit. But like I wasn't able to capitalize on that. But I think we can capitalize on this. It's a super exciting time. I don't know when the next inflection point like this is going to be. This is a big inflection point.
I completely agree, but I just want to point out how. Okay, this is just how I feel about it. It's not right, but this is how I feel about it.
Okay.
This is not right. Like what I'm saying is that it's not fact. Like it's my opinion, right? My opinion is that like you don't need to pick the winner. Like we're gonna get bogged down in trying to pick the winner of this theme, and you don't have to. The theme is gonna win. It doesn't matter who wins. I think Tesla's gonna win, but it doesn't matter. Buy the theme. I agree with Steven 100%. Buy the theme, particularly when it's
if that's
down.
the case, why not buy the slightly higher volatility beta play and win bigger?
Well, you don't know that it's.
Well, do you have a list for me? Like, what do you got? Like, you got a few picks here besides Tesla?
They're gonna be like obscure shit that you don't even remember.
Never heard of?
Some freaking like
Right.
it's like okay. So if you go through this list,
So these companies exist today. Like, they're ready to go.
it's
like,
literally like 100 obscure
startups.
parts manufacturers. Some of them are in like Korea. Some of them are in
micro
Taiwan.
caps.
There's stuff like that you would recognize, like Tesla. Tesla is probably the biggest name. Like if you look at the Trini portfolio for robotics, the biggest name, most highly weighted thing that is most recognizable is definitely Tesla.
Okay.
But there's like weird shit in there that you wouldn't think of, like Honda Motors.
Let me ask a better
which is
question.
a stock that's gone sideways for 20 years.
Samsung, like things that like you wouldn't
Okay,
imagine are
interesting.
robotics, but are.
Cisco is pretty high up in there, which has been
Let me ask a better question.
dog for a while.
When are you going to make a move?
I'm making a move
And-
like immediately.
What? Like how?
Immediately.
Based on what Steven's saying, the time is now, because like if things are this down, like he's saying they're 200 month moving out, like that's
This is the inflection point.
like
right
this is
here.
the time.
I think this is
the time before the bubble like what I'm saying that's going to happen is that a bubble's going to happen and a bunch of dog shit is going to rise.
I just
I
hate
agree with that
buying
completely.
individual stocks. So, like, what kind of allocation are you thinking here?
I'm going to set aside like, okay, I want to put X amount of dollars in my portfolio to this narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna I'm not buying 100 stocks, but I'll probably buy like 10 or 15.
And I'm like, I haven't read Citrini's report. I read the free version, but I'm guessing Citrini mentions probably like 30 names because that's like what he does essentially.
Oh, way more than 30. There's literally like 100 things in here. It's so deep. It's too deep. Like it needs to be parsed down. Like I don't think you get any benefit as an investor from investing in 100 individual names.
Oh, yeah,
that's like
that's
crazy.
weird. Just make an ETF.
You don't
for
want to
me.
invest in one, but you also don't want to invest in 100. That's wild.
Does crypto solve this? Just make an ETF of it for me.
No,
No,
fuck
crypto,
that. It's not happening.
crypto doesn't solve much.
I think my
Dude,
play
it's
is
kind of bad
to
how
How bad it is.
bad we've become.
Oh, that's Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin.
it's
and
fine.
fart
We're,
coin.
we're at an inflection in crypto too.
Bitfart. Yeah.
Bitfart.
A lot of inflection points right now. It's a good time to be alive. Good time to be investing.
Yeah, I like your newfound optimism.
I'm so excited right now, and
Okay.
I'm going like I'm dedicating like a bucket of the portfolio to
You
this.
sure you're not getting your 21 in right now? Because it feels
Yeah.
21y to me.
Feels fully torqued.
Feels like you're taking care of yourself.
You got those knees locked up tight.
That's just me.
Can't put the camera on.
That's just me having to pee so badly because I drank like 6 beers.
Literally holding back from.
I am about to. I am about to wet myself, but this topic so excites me that I'm soldiering on. But I cannot explain to you as much like how much
You're
I have
hiding
to pee
your
right now.
boner.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
I
I
am
played this game. Back in high
Trying
school.
not
Sure thing,
trying not to
bud.
piss myself.
The old belt tuckaroo, huh?
No
Dude,
belt.
I was a master belt tucker. I was a master.
Every period.
Belt tucked? Oh my god!
You didn't
Like,
belt
up?
tuck?
You tucked it like
Where
up?
else you gonna go?
It's just wild.
Can't expose.
First of all,
Can't expose
that
it?
belt tug is such a wild maneuver. You do it in like real
I
time.
think I have to end this episode
You
before
gotta
it goes off the rails.
Under the desk.
Oh,
You do it in
God.
real time.
Belt tuck before you stand up.
Steven,
You didn't do that?
My dick's not even big enough to go to the belt.
Yes, we finally reached the crescendo of the Alfalfa.
All right. On that note, I'm
we
gonna
finally got
gonna
there.
wrap it. It's a
We
very,
finally got
it's a
there.
very standard journey for us, I guess. If you
Best
guys
of
enjoyed
both
this
worlds.
episode, if you guys
Love it.
enjoyed this episode, best thing you could do for us,
Come on, man! I
Share it
walked
with a
away
friend.
with some alpha and a laugh. Like,
maybe
doesn't get
don't
any better.
talk about the last part, or
Maybe
maybe,
edit
do.
it out.
You know, read the room. Read the room. Maybe they'll like that. Share the episode with a friend. Please like and subscribe.
I'm supposed to be a serious individual in the world, and I'm not. I'm not holding up to that.
You know what? I give up.
This is me.
I give up. That was fun, guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope that was
man,
educational, entertaining,
Yeah, super educational.
that was really good.
weird at some points. I don't know, but
Am I the only belt tucker? Hold on, I got to talk to the chat about this
Yeah,
thank
after
you for
hours.
thank you for
Love-
joining us.
I
No,
would
no, no.
love to hear it.
Seriously, this is like the medium
Somebody
pile.
go turn the episode off. I'm gonna
no,
pee
no,
if I
this
get up.
is. I guarantee you.
Steven, go.
I
I
guarantee
just want to
you-
hear more from the
can't-
chat.
Yeah.
You just take a pee. I
Yeah,
want to hear more
Turn
from the
it
chat.
off. Turn it off. I want to hear from them. I guarantee you, I'm not the only belt tucker.
No, I think it's a pretty natural phenomenon. I want to hear more.
You know the medium pile, right? We talked about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's a common male phenomenon.
This is just a thing guys
This
do.
is just the same exact level. Like, I would be blown away if the belt tuck was not
Okay.
common standard practice
I don't know,
in
all my short kings, I want to know who can't reach the belt.
Are we still rolling?
Hey, thanks. Just keep it going. We're after hours.
What if we did this? What if we just rolled right into after hours?
Yeah, we're just after hours now.
This has to be paywalled, though.
After hours was always the best.
Yeah, it's always the best. Oh man, you never had like an embarrassing moment?
No, my whole life was embarrassing. Mom. Come on.
Oh man.
Okay, you know what I forgot to mention on the Korea part, Korea segment, was that I saw somebody. There was a research paper that was put out that said 40% of men from age 18 to 25, 40% of them had never approached a woman in real life.
Jesus Christ.
I think this is an underrepresented.
Sorry, in Korea?
No, in the world. But I think this is like an underrepresented part of why Korea isn't populating, because I think the world isn't populating. I think that like all the numbers are going lower because as we've traded like 3-dimensional interaction to 2-dimensional swiping and whatever, like I think people have just like fucked less. I think this is like a human phenomenon.
Approached less.
Yeah, I think-
engaged less.
Because like I don't think in our heyday that number was the same. Like
No.
men
way.
age 18 to
You wouldn't
25,
survive.
you sort of like had to. There was
You
no
had to.
other option.
You had
So I think like this is
We didn't have the what is it called now? The incel option.
no incel.
There was no
wasn't a thing.
incel culture.
No.
You just stumbled your way through and you still believed that you had to figure it out.
And according to this research thing, it was 40% of this young demographic, which is like 18 to 25 is like the most
prime
fucking
years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So I actually think that maybe Western civilization is seeing the numbers decline, including Korea, from this.
From you, oh wow! Like this is the underlying.
This is one underlying variable that like we're kind of ignoring.
I can totally see that. I can totally see that because I heard these discussions recently happening that never used to occur before, like asking women about how they want to be approached and how they feel when they're approached. And like when it's appropriate to be approached. And these questions never used to exist.
Yeah, you
and then
just-
asking men like, do you approach? When do you approach? How do you approach? Like, do you know, what is your, like, it's totally being over analyzed.
Yeah.
It never used to be analyzed at all.
Right,
It
you
was
just-
just what
you just did it.
everyone did.
Yeah, you just did it.
Yeah.
So this is a little taste of Alfalfa After Dark.
Oh, it gets way weirder.
Yeah, it gets way weirder.
You know, we have some friends waiting for us, actually. I just got a text. We have
Yeah.
the After Hours crew
Oh my God.
standing by.
My wife's gonna kill me because I have not been home since about 10 o'clock.
When you're running,
Yeah.
you just keep running, brother.
Yeah, that's
Steven,
one.
I think you should end the stream.
Stream's not over?
Yeah, we're having a little chat.
Oh my god.
Bye, guys. We love you. You're the best. Peace.